The crucial match had arrived. Victory over Portsmouth at home, and City were up.
It started very early, actually. It was about the 3rd or 4th minute into the game. Obviously, we had to win to get ourselves promoted. And about the 3rd minute, ball come over, Cheese flicked it on, and I just volleyed it straight in that top corner over there. And the next thing I knew, I ended up over there, everybody on top of me in a heap. And it just happened that quickly. And I think at the time when it all happened, I think the consequences of it didn't really sort of sink in. And I could feel it, you know, with the crowd, you know, the fact that we'd actually won and we got promoted. And it was a marvellous achievement.
The players were very nervous, if I remember. It was a nervous few minutes and to the period we scored the goal, and then it started to take over. Then 5 minutes from the end they started to run on, I believe. You had to push them off, and I think the game ended inside the 90 minutes, I think, with the enthusiasm of the crowd.
It was emotional, very, very emotional for the manager, for the coaching staff, all the players, wives, girlfriends, everybody involved. They all worked so hard. It was fabulous. It was fabulous for the city of Bristol.
They were never going to lose that game. You know, they were young men who had got the bit between their teeth, and that was it. They were going for the finishing line, and they got there. Great night, great night.
Every time the whistle blew, they thought, oh, that's it, you know, and they would start to rush on the pitch, of course. And they said, oh no, get back, you know, still another few minutes to go. And at the end, well, when the whistle did go, was jubilant scenes.
I remember turning to the referee and saying, no, for God's sake, finish this game, because if we make a mistake and they equalise, they're going to come on and kill us. You know, they were waiting to come on and pat us on the back, but if things had changed, then it would have been a disaster.
That last 5 minutes seemed like an eternity, you know. You kept looking at the referee, you knew the crowd were ready to come on. It was,
Obviously the game tonight was tense. Wasn't our best football match, but then it's 42 games in a year. And
the best moment of your football in life?
Yes, very much so.
To say tonight, obviously we're all very, very pleased and proud, and I'm a very proud man tonight, and it is one of the most marvellous moments of my life that we are moving forward.
The deeds of those players have become the stuff of legend. But what was life like off the pitch? For the supporters, after years of slumming it in the game's backwaters, these were truly days to savour.
And it was a great scene, you know, much the same as anybody winning the FA Cup or League. You know, we had our day, and it was terrific to be there.
The city had a football team it could be proud of. It had a football team of the calibre Bristol should have. They were known in the restaurants and the nightclubs. They all had a good time. They were young men full of spirit. They weren't no angels.
We went all round Hertford, we went through Bedminster, we went all over, and the crowds lined the streets, and then it culminated in a speech for me outside of the council houses on College Green.
After travelling around the city, you people deserve as much credit as we do. You've been absolutely tremendous. Thank you very much indeed.
what did you feel when the fixture list was first released and you saw Arsenal away? Is you right?
The first thing you think of is Super Mac just been signed for $350,000. Alan Ball, captain. Jimmy Rimmer in goal. Pat Wright, Sammy Nelson. Need I go on?
The actual build-up to it was absolutely fantastic. You know, I mean, going to the marble halls of Highbury.
I remember travelling out the motorway, and every other car was a Bristol City car. You know, the Scars were coming out, and then as we came down over to Highbury, Highbury's in a bit of a sort of ditch. You know, it's just down low. You go down over a big hill, and when we went down, the people, the atmosphere, and it was a boiling hot day.
Everybody's sort of very hyped up at Arsenal, thinking, "Oh, this is great," you know. And as we're going in the turnstiles, all the chaps are saying, "Oh, don't score yet, Super Mac. You know, wait till we all get in," and we're all squashing into the turnstiles like this. Is not something that, you know, you're used to at Ashton Gate.
I was 12th man that day, and I was in the dugout at Arsenal, and it was like glass, and we were cooked. And the support that day, I think there was about 7,000 or 8,000 Bristolians there.
And then when we actually ran out, it's just a dream. Just couldn't believe it.
65 years since they played in the First Division, thriving on good teamwork last season and the excellent work of manager Alan Dix. But it was noticeable how many of them arrived at Highbury's front door this afternoon and had to ask which way to go. It really is a new world for them, but their team is a settled one. It's the one that basically saw them up from the Second Division. Certainly Bristol City look well in control of themselves at the moment. Here's Richie. Stopped by Simpson, but it only comes to Whitehead. The little chip coming in towards Cheesley. Oh, how unlucky he was! Good run here by Mann. And Armstrong going back, and he's left Armstrong. Still with Jimmy Mann. Played back this time to Cheesley, and he didn't quite catch it properly as Nelson got in there and half stopped him. He's onside. Now, can he make something of this? He can't, because O'Leary did a magnificent job in defence for Arsenal. The ball's still in play, though. Ritchie recovering and finding Whitehead. Another nice little cross by him. Oh, no doubt about that one from Cheesley.